The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And right now, Norm Coleman calling in.
Absolutely. Who better than Norm, former senator there of Minnesota? And Norm, what is going on with Minnesota? We just heard some more updates from Vice President J.D. Vance about fraud. And it seems like it always kind of comes back to Minnesota.
You know, we used to be the land of 10,000 lakes, and now we're being known as the land of 10,000 frauds. It really is very sad. But by the way, I have to say, I'm a big fan of Katie McFarland. She's really smart. I love to come right after her because I can listen to her. I'm also national chairman of the Republican Jewish Coalition, so the U.S.-Israel relationship is really important. And you know, what Donald Trump is doing is really transforming the region. It's really remarkable. We'll see how all this plays out. But he's been the best friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. He has taken on the Iranians. He has militarily kind of decimated them, economically decimated them. We'll see how all this plays out. But in any case, she's really a talent. So I'm glad you put me on right after her.
Well, we like to have two smart people back to back, Norm. That's why.
The whole show has been smart people back to back to back.
Exactly. So, Norm, you know, when you look at everything that's going on there, and the latest is Ilhan Omar's also being investigated. Part of it, this is wild, that her daughter went to Cuba and went with this, you know, with all these, you know, groups that claim they're humanitarian bashing. Yeah. And then they're looking into her marriage or whatever that is. Do you think when you peel the onions around Ilhan Omar, there might be some stuff there?
You know, what do they say when there's smoke? It sounds like there's fire. You know what? So one of the realities that this administration is focused on, aside from the Middle East and China, also focusing on fraud. Vice President just today had his meeting with the group of attorneys general. Focusing on fraud. This is a major priority. Obviously, Minnesota's kind of been at the center of it. You know, you had programs there that started as a $600,000 autism program that transformed into a $400 million program, and fraud. Just recently, they had 15 people who were charged with $90 million of Medicaid fraud. Ilhan Omar, you've got not just her involvement with the Feeding the Future program, as your listeners, you know, may know just recently, the person who's at the center of that, who just got sentenced to over 40 years in prison, said that you know, Omar was aware, or she couldn't conceive that she wouldn't be aware of this massive, that was a $250 million fraud. And then on top of that, you have her marrying her brother to get him into the country, which the vice president has said is probably fraud, but he didn't want to get ahead of himself. And he said, let the Justice Department investigate. But you know, at what point do you say enough?
You know, I got to ask Judge Weinberg, what do you make of the whole brother thing?
She couldn't get another date.
Fraud.
She couldn't get another date.
Yeah, what do they got? A family that stays together, plays together,
Exactly.
whatever. But
Senator, I want to ask you.
It shows a lack of character.
Right.
Yes, it sure does.
Senator, I want to, you know, you were mayor of Minneapolis, if I recall, before you went to the Senate.
Yep.
So now you have a mayor of Minneapolis who declared yesterday a day.
St. Paul, you're talking about.
Was it St. Paul?
Minneapolis is the state.
I'm Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yeah, the Twin Cities.
Twin Cities, okay.
Twin Cities in Minnesota, yep.
I know, I've been at the airport. It's a lovely airport. Anyway, Senator, so the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, announced yesterday that yesterday was a day, it wasn't Memorial Day, it was a day to recognize the great contributions of someone who was died in the streets.
Yeah, George Floyd.
You know how far we have fallen in terms of lack.
And who's George? By the way, just so everybody knows, who's George Floyd again?
Yeah, and
What was his contribution?
And by the way, it was the governor and the mayor. It was Mayor Jacob Fry and Governor Tim Walz. And let's not forget, you guys, it was Memorial Day yesterday.
It's shameful.
The governor, by the way, who let the city go up in flames. The mayor who made the decision to let the 4th precinct get burnt down by thugs and rioters after the George Floyd incident. But those are the same folks that are still in power, that are still on making these pronouncements. Boy, we've come a long way from when Hubert Humphrey may have been a liberal, but he was the mayor of Minneapolis. There was some respect. I hope people look back at the days of Norm Coleman as mayor of St. Paul, where, by the way, I didn't raise taxes for 8 years. I cut 3/4 of the licenses to business, and I brought the National Hockey League back to Minnesota. I used to say the best mayors in America were either Republicans or Democrats who governed like Republicans. That's certainly not the case in Minneapolis today.
Yeah, really scary, the situation there. Well, Norm Coleman, we love having you on. Thank you so much, Senator.
Love being with you. Have a great one.
Thank you so much.